Hi guys, I'm Cory Oliver. Thanks for watching the Coriolis Effect. Please hit the subscribe button below, and we hope you like this episode. Hi guys, we wanted to announce that like many podcasters, we just started a Patreon account. Visit our page at patreon.com/the Coriolis Effect. We have 5 different levels of membership and offer early access to episodes, behind the scenes footage, bonus episodes, shoutouts, and much more, including personal phone calls, questions and answer sessions, and live chats with Bob and me. That's patreon.com/the Coriolis Effect. Is a classroom the best way to teach your children to be curious, creative, and entrepreneurial? Of course not. Real learning comes from doing. Welcome to the Children's Business Fair, a one-day event where young people can launch and showcase a business. You'll be amazed by what children can accomplish, and it's a great way to bring your neighborhood to life. Launching a children's business fair is easier than you think and free. We'll even throw in $500 of prize money. Find out more at podcast.childrensbusinessfair.org. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Cory. How are you?
I'm doing really well, and...
You're doing really well. You're whining and crying about your tooth, and you're doing
I do, I know. I had a toothache last night. I still have it, and I really have the best dentist, and he's just amazing. So I'm going to get in to see
his
him.
name to everybody?
Dr. Ty in Westlake. He really is one of the best dentists.
In Westlake.
In Westlake Village, yes.
And in the world.
What's that?
And in the world.
Well, he certainly is fantastic. So I'm going to make an appointment, see him on Tuesday. Having said that, though, I will say this, that you look great today.
Why, thank you.
You're thinking in your mind as opposed to every other day.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I know you. I know you so well now. No, this color blue looks good on you.
That's
You've
what we
got
call
scruff.
a backhanded compliment.
I know, but you do, though.
You look great. You should keep washing your hair. That looks good.
I know, right?
Thank you. I don't wear light colored clothing.
You don't wear blue, but it looks really good. Does Irina like it?
I don't know. She's not up yet.
Oh, well, have you never worn this shirt before?
Irina doesn't say things like, that shirt looks good. She says, why are you wearing that shirt? Are we poor?
That's cute, but it's a polo. Yeah. It's not like polos are not typically, they're, well, it's cute.
It's like an Arlo
it's cute.
Or something. Why, thank you.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Oh, good. Well, you're very well. Tell me what's going on in your world.
Not much. I had something I wanted to say, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, well.
Well,
I'm listening to the sound outside.
I know, there's like a truck outside going on. It's either trash day or lawnmower day or...
Well, it's a Saturday, and at like 7 or 8 in the morning Saturday, our neighbors, gardeners come. I come on 7 in the morning. You got to drive you nuts.
I know.
But there's a rule that telemarketers and bill collectors can't call during certain hours. Like I think it's either after 9 or 10 at night, and they can't call before like 8 or 9 in the morning. Ought to be that rule for gardeners. And there's a rule of construction. You can't start construction before a certain time.
Do telemarketers really follow that rule?
Well, they don't, but technically, and this is for the world out there, if you report them, they get in a lot of trouble.
But the thing about them nowadays is you can't go back to them. A lot of them have like these burner numbers that they call from, they rotodial,
right.
Thank you.
They have when I was doing it in high school, we have what's called watch lines that doesn't send out the signal, and that was before you had caller ID.
Right.
But yeah.
Today I just got on the way in here, and I'll talk about this for a second because, I don't want to get all political on us right now, but okay, might as well. Well, I got this text basically saying that you need to get a radio. They've been saying this for months. You should have like a radio. Did you get the same thing?
No.
Yeah.
Was it like an alert text?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Newsmax sent it out. You should get a radio. And what is happening in the world that we now have to go to transistor radios?
You have to get a transistor radio, but yeah, you have to get a radio.
Transistors or whatever they are.
And then the question is, do you get a radio app on your phone or do you get an actual radio?
I don't know. I feel like it's one other aspect of fear mongering. And, we've been in this whole rabbit hole of it. And I'm just like, the Bible says 365 times, do not be afraid, do not fear, which means one for every day. You shouldn't fear.
Think it was an editor's choice?
Do I think it was an editor's choice?
Yeah.
Well, he is a pretty big editor.
No, in the 10th century when King James rewrote the Bible, you think he said, how many days in a year are there? Okay,
Don't fear.
Let's get rid of those other 5 and bring it down to 365.
I don't know. Point is, don't fear.
We talk about
stop living in fear.
You talk about the Bible a lot, but the Bible is discussed a lot on this show, and all I keep thinking in my mind is there's 14 books that were purposely taken out of the Bible that King James, or I'm sorry, Constantine did not want in them. Well, weren't they also the Word of God?
Good point,
So
Bob.
why is Constantine editing the Lord's work, right?
I love that. You go, Bob.
And you think, like, in the 3rd century, he corrected it for spelling and grammar and sent it back to the Lord, like my father did to me when I was 7? No. Sorry.
Oh, that left an indelible mark on you. I'm sensing.
I told you that, right?
Yeah, you did 17 or 14 times. Or 19.
But it doesn't bother me.
No, not at all.
I'm telling you, it doesn't bother me.
No, where's
the couch? Let me lie down for a minute.
Oh, how's that make you feel?
That makes me feel wonderful. $200 an hour now?
We just figured it all out for you.
I could be a psychiatrist. You sit there, you doodle, and you say, how does that make you feel? And you doodle a little more.
I'll tell you one thing, though. My therapist, after my second marriage, was worth every single solitary moment, dime I spent. He really was amazing.
Good. Therapy is a wonderful profession. We think all therapists are wonderful. 98% of all therapists are wonderful.
If they're really good and they do their job, you don't have to go see them anymore. You don't spend your life, in therapy. You just you use it in a moment where you're really struggling. And for me, where I was just really struggling, and I realized, oh wow,
Yes, the goal of therapy is to not be in therapy.
Yes. Right. Yes. How did we get there?
I don't know.
We kind of digress. But today we have an amazing guest. All of our guests are amazing, just so you know. It's Festus Ezeli.
I want to say
otherwise
Golden
known as
State Warriors and Portland Trailblazers.
Yeah, pretty big. Our first NBA player, wow.
All right, I'm going to have to go downstairs and raise the door jams.
The door jams, yeah.
He's like 7 feet tall, right?
He's 6'11".
6'11". Oh,
and he is
little guy for the NBA.
Yeah, and he is so nice. I had a bit of a pre-interview with him, and I was referred to him through a mutual friend of ours, and he's just a nice guy, and he has quite a story, and I'll let him tell it. But I'm very excited.
Me too.
Yeah, right? Our very first NBA player.
We have a wide camera. I wonder if we have like a tall camera. I'll have to put the camera on the side, and we'll just,
The footage might be like this, but I'm excited to dive into his story. He has a testimony, and he's just doing great things right now. So
good. Where's he from?
He's originally from Nigeria.
Okay.
And I believe
Goodwin Otuno's from Nigeria.
Yeah, I know.
He's our second Nigerian.
I know.
In 30-some odd episodes.
Right? And he is I believe he lives
Can't
talk today. In Sacramento. And he's here for just the day, and so he's agreed to come into the studio. So
that's nice.
I know. So nice, huh?
Yeah.
Must be you, Bob.
No, I think he saw your
shirt
picture
you
and
have
said,
on.
He saw your picture and said, I'll be there in 10 minutes.
Oh, I'm going to disappoint him now when he gets here.
No.
Pictures are, thank you.
Your face is very pretty. It's just when you start talking, they all run away.
Oh my gosh. How sexist is that?
That's not sexist.
Yeah, you're going to come across terrible on that one. You might want to edit that out.
No, because it's you personally.
What?
I said you're very pretty, so people come to talk to you, and then they hear you talk, and then they leave.
What?
That's an attack of you. It's not an attack on your gender.
They do leave.
No, they don't.
Yeah,
no,
they do.
No,
Both
they
my
don't.
husbands left me.
No, it took the first one a year and a half.
No, now you have me.
I'm sorry.
This is why you mean.
I'm sorry. Well, now I'm getting all the comments, huh? Bob made Cory cry.
You're right.
They don't leave because of that.
I need to go back to therapy now.
Well, your therapist listening to the show going, hey, all right, I can buy a new boat now.
Oh my gosh, no, I'm okay. For those of you who are just listening, I'm okay. I'm going to go ahead and get that dagger out of my back. And we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with Festus.
We talked about this, and you said every time something bad happens, God is saving you from something worse.
He so did. I totally get that.
Yeah.
No, I'm only joking, sort of, kind of. The tears are just because I'm laughing so hard.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yes, I actually talked to my daughter about Festus last night, and I said, can you send me some questions? And she gave me some really great questions.
Good.
I know. I was like, ooh, a little journalist in the making. So,
we should have her on the show.
Yes, we should. She's amazing. So yes, I'm looking forward to that today. And then once we're done.
She could guest host.
Uh-huh.
We could tie you up and throw you in a corner and she can guest host your show.
She actually, a little fun fact, when God's Not Dead was coming out and I was doing Beverly Hills Pawn, the Reels Network had us do a commercial together.
Did you?
Yeah. So somewhere out there is a commercial together. She doesn't like this world at all. I mean, she's an amazing athlete. She's a 2-time, bronze medalist from the Junior Olympics for water polo. And she's just a way better person than me all around.
Do you have the video?
Video of what?
Of the commercial?
I do. The Reels channel has it. Yes. I don't know that I think I posted it on my Facebook. So I do have a clipping of it. Okay. Yes.
Got it. We'll put it up.
Yes. Hi, I'm Cory from Beverly Hills Pawn, and this is my daughter, Ariana. If you want a movie to amaze your family, check out Guardians of the Galaxy. Chris Pratt and 4 galactic outlaws save the galaxy from evil and capture an orb with the power to destroy everything.
I knew Chris Pratt could do it.
Order it until January 4th, risk-free on pay-per-view and video on demand. Reels guarantees that you'll like it or they'll pay you back.
That's a fake laugh.
And catch me on Beverly Hills Pawn. Yeah, she's just amazing. But it's not her thing. She doesn't really have that passion for it. So, but she was very good to play along, I tell you.
Really?
Yeah, it was amazing. I'm like, oh, that's taking one for the team right there. It's not
Little
easy
trooper.
to get up in front of a camera. And,
No, it's not. That's the reason why I'm not in front of the camera.
And for some reason, it's weird because when I first started it, I would know all my lines. I would know what I was going to do, all my marks. But it was a subconscious thing. As soon as they would say action, it was like I'd go blank. And the same thing happened when I was a kid in school. I would know, I'd study and I'd have all the information. But as soon as she'd say, okay, I'm turning this thing upside down, whatever those little clocks are, the sand clock, that's how old I am.
Hourglass.
And she'd say, you have 30 minutes.
It's like the beginning of this show when you didn't know what to talk about. It still happens.
But it still happens. Wow, you are just a confidence booster today, I tell you. I don't even know what to say. Oh, thank you.
I'm afraid we're going to get so popular and you're going to dump me for another producer. And
I will never dump you. And here's the thing about this, and I'll say it right here. I am a loyal person.
You are. Very.
I am.
Very.
And
a little demanding at times, but very loyal.
Yeah.
A little whiny.
I don't.
A little crybaby.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. We have all day.
Yeah, that's it. Really? Okay. You want the list alphabetically or order of importance?
First of all, you and I are 50-50 partners.
Yeah.
We produce this show together.
That's true.
It is us, not
That's
I.
true. We definitely produce it together because you're always behind my back as I'm sitting 9 hours editing each show and you're there going, what else can I do? What else can I do?
I'm actually booking the talent.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Just so you know.
Without you, we got no show. We got no talent. That's true.
I know. So, yeah.
Something interesting on your phone more important than the show?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well.
Okay.
Why don't we wait for Festus, and we'll see you in 2 minutes.
Okay.
Bye.
We'd like to take a quick break and thank Down to the Wire for sponsoring today's episode. You can find their trio of podcasts, including Down to the Beat and Down to the City Weekly, on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But today I want to specifically talk about their Down to the City podcast, which talks about unique local businesses in the city. Also, catch Down to the City's video series where they travel to and showcase local businesses. Their first video episode was of a local tattoo parlor where they got tattoos by the owner who they interviewed. Check that out on their YouTube page, DTTW Entertainment, and visit their website, www.dttwentertainment.com, to learn more about the brand and its podcasts. Do you know an extraordinary child, a budding superstar who is ready to take on the world and who loves to have fun? If so, he or she deserves a chance to shine at a children's business fair, a one-day event where young people can launch and showcase a business. You'll be amazed by what children can accomplish, and it's a great way to bring neighbors together amid sunshine and laughter. At a children's business fair, children will make something with their own hands, sell it safely, and experience the freedom of having a little extra spending money as a reward. It takes less than 10 minutes to apply and as little as 3 hours to plan a fair. Just set up a few tables on a lawn and send a few emails to friends and family. You can host a fair for free, and we'll even chip in up to $500 of prize money. Sound too simple? Join parents who want to equip and inspire their children to shine in the real world. Start your audition to host a children's business fair in your community or find out more at podcast.childrensbusinessfair.org.
Hey, thank you. let's start the show.
Let's start the show. I'm actually going to let...
Is that a mic?
Yes. This? Yes.
Yeah.
It's a thing around it, so my
What
mic
is
doesn't...
this studio? This is amazing.
So here's the thing. He's got the best mic, as you can see. He's got the whole thing around it. It's Bob's show. It's really Bob's show. I'm just kind of participating in it.
We allow Cory to talk sometimes.
We allow me to talk?
This is a shield, so your voice doesn't get picked up by my mic. So when I edit it, I don't have... If I want just me to speak, which is about 90% of the episode, I don't have to have you guys speak. I can just listen to me. Oh. It's Cory laughing.
It's all about
You laugh so quietly, but the podcasters can't hear you.
I'm going to get nervous. So wait, today is... I have to get this out. Actually, you were just saying...
Is the podcast started already?
Yes, it has. So
I said, let's start the show.
He says, let's start the show.
So
go ahead and you say what you just said because it sounded so beautiful coming from his rich, deep voice. I love it.
Welcome to the Coriolis effect.
Yeah, that sounds
Cory
good.
Oliver.
All right, do a clean take. Welcome to the Coriolis effect with Cory Oliver.
Welcome to the Coriolis effect with Cory Oliver. Festus.
That's your new ringtone.
That's my new ringtone. Wow, that is so beautiful. You have such a great voice. Yes, welcome. We have our first NBA player today. I know, we get a clap. Festus Ezeli is in the house. I'm so excited. And he's just not only a beautiful person outside, but inside more beautifully. I had a pre-interview with him and we got to talk all things. And so today, he's in town until today. You're leaving and you were gracious enough to come by our studio. So I just first want to say thank you on behalf of the Coriolis Effect and Bob and myself for coming out here. It's like 45 minutes from where you are and you got in a car and came here and I feel blessed. Like I really do. I'm going to cry.
I believe it.
I know because I just know it's a divine appointment and you have a testimony, a story. You've won championships. We'll talk about that. But first, I have to do this word of the day because Bob just flashed me over there.
Okay, I flashed her a sign. Let's be real clear about that.
We have a word of the day, and it's a phobia.
So we do a phobia every day for every guest. I'm going to say, actually, Siri's going to say the phobia, and you have to guess. Actually, I have two for you.
Okay.
But you have to guess what the phobia is.
All right, talk to me.
And let's see. Make sure I get it right.
Spherophobia.
It's Spherophobia.
Spherophobia.
S-F-A-I-R-E-S phobia.
Spherophobia.
Spherophobia.
S-F-A-I-R.
S-Fair-E-S phobia. S-Spherophobia.
Ferrisphobia. What is Ferris?
I know what
Pertains
it
to you
is.
and your profession. Your former
Yes,
profession.
you're afraid of basketball?
Close.
Of the sphere.
Yes.
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 But why does it start with an F?
S-F.
Oh.
Spherophobia.
Still confusing. It's
Yes,
Yeah.
spherophobia.
Okay.
You did. You got it. He's like one of two people have gotten the word.
I know, really, yeah. I have one more, which
I feel like they made a mistake
I know.
in making that word. But all
I
right,
know.
that's fine.
here's one that if you don't get, well, you got to get it exactly.
Basketballophalophobia. Basketballophalophobia.
Basketball aphalophobia. It's not just the fear of basketball.
Yeah, no, I see the basketball of
Aphala. A-F-F, I'm sorry, A-F-A-L-A. Basketball aphalophobia.
You're scared of the stories of basketball? The
Close.
fallacies?
You're afraid of a basketball hitting you in the head.
Oh my gosh, there's a word for
There's
everything.
a word for I'm afraid of a basketball hitting me in the head. And it is.
Basketballophalophobia.
Wow.
I am leaving here with a lot of knowledge.
I
today.
mean, so am I. Wow. Well, Festus, let's dive into your story because you have a really, we talked a little bit and you have, I'm so nervous. We have an NBA star in our studio. I don't get nervous either.
I am surrounded. First of all, thank you for having me. But I'm
Yes.
surrounded by posters of you on movies, and there's your lips behind you. I am in your world right now, so I'm the
know,
person
I'm
that's a little nervous.
Thank you. Well, we can carry each other, as Mike San Pedro has said on the show. Where do we start with Festus? Actually, I have some questions for you, but I'll get to those in a little bit. Those are from my daughter. I texted her last night, and she really sent me some great questions for you. I just want to make sure that we talk about everything that we need to talk to. I know. I'm really like, here I go. You should put those little hearts over my head right now. And this is, yeah. I'm flustered for many reasons. Festus, you have a podcast called Rebuilding the Beast.
I do, yes.
And we talked a little bit about that. It's called Rebuilding the Beast, and you also have a website called rebuildingthebeast.com. You were a former NBA player, and you were injured So I want to talk really about that first, what that was like. Because when you were telling me the story, my heart broke for you. I mean, you know, everything that you've gone through to get to that point, and then having that injury. I know there's people out there that get frustrated and that are torn and broken from their life circumstances, right? Tell me what that was like for you.
Well, wow, that was a lot. It's a long story of my life. To go into playing basketball, first off, I am originally born and raised in Nigeria, and that is important to the story because I came to the United States when I was 14 years old, and at 14, actually at 15 is when I discovered basketball. At that point, I was very bad at the game. I was very bad. Just imagine a 14-year-old or a 15-year-old seeing a basketball for the first time.
Were you tall at 14?
I was tall. I was about 6'4".
Wow.
That's the runt of the litter.
Seriously?
The runt of the litter? The little guy,
Yeah. I was the little guy. And so people thought and they assumed because, you know, you're a black guy and you're like, okay, you come into the gym. It's like, oh, he's the guy that we want on our team. And I was the guy that you don't want on your team, and people were making fun of me. But long story short, first basket was against my own team. You know, I played AAU on the AAU circuit for a couple of years because I tried out for my high school team and I didn't make it. And
wow.
So with that being the start to my journey, I was also a video guy for a basketball team in junior college at 16. So these are all the start to my journey, right? It was like I got cut. Now I'm a video guy, but I'm trying to play summer ball, and it's like this crazy chaos, right? Eventually get a scholarship. I got scholarships to go everywhere after a few years of playing. And by the time I was 17, I had like 40 scholarship offers.
Wow.
And I chose Vanderbilt University because I'm Nigerian and I didn't really have a choice. I had to pick something academic. Plus I had to find, and this is definitely not a brag, or it's just with my most humblest ways of saying this. I got accepted into Harvard, and it was the only way for me to justify to my parents and my grandparents, it's the whole community, to justify to them that I was not going to go to Harvard. I had to go to another top university, just because my aspirations originally were to be a doctor. And so the reason why all this is important is because...
I'm sorry, hang on. Can you imagine being on the gurney and your doctor walks in at 6'11" to do the operation?
You know, I never thought about it like that, but you know, I kept
You have to raise the gurney up to like,
But I kept growing. It's like the dream was like, okay, I want to be a doctor, but then I kept growing and growing and growing. I was like, well, like everything has to be custom in the hospital. Yeah. Like the doors, the table, the surgery table, everything. Yeah, no, you never know though.
You can't be in the submarine service?
You just never know.
Huh? Right. You can't be in the submarine service?
No, I wonder.
No, they used to have a 6-foot limit. They don't anymore, but yeah.
So I just met a pilot like last week that was like 6'9". And I was like, how do you, I thought this wasn't for us. I thought we didn't have, there's a height limit.
Did you watch Airplane?
No.
With Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
Yes.
The
movie, there's a slapstick movie. But Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was the co-pilot.
Yeah.
Really?
Watch the movie Airplane.
You have to watch it.
It's
so good.
It's a classic movie.
Does anybody watch any movies that are not on Netflix anymore? Is that on Netflix?
No. Yeah, I'm sure it is. If not, it's on Amazon.
It's on,
Oh, Amazon.
But when we digress, you were going to Vanderbilt to be a
I just
doctor.
have a question. I want to interject really quick. So from 15 to 17. So 15, you didn't even know. You were just starting to play.
16, I didn't know anything about the game. I had to learn like I was a 5-year-old kid, which a lot of kids here start at that age, especially now.
But it just goes to show you how fast God can supernaturally expedite you with your talents that he gave you into, first
Did you
position.
Find it easy to pick up?
No, I was not an athlete. I didn't come here like, people usually play soccer and that's their gateway because they have this great footwork. I had to learn everything. I was a little chubby kid and never was an athlete growing up. My dad was the athlete. So in some ways, I feel like underneath the flubber was...
You had it.
So,
yeah.
6'11" Adonis who can put the ball in a hoop like nobody else.
I appreciate that.
That's amazing. I mean, so you decide to go to Vanderbilt.
Yeah, at Vandy, I spent my time there, and by the time I started off, when I got there, I was a practice player. They were just kind of like, this guy, let's see how it goes. And by my senior year, I'm team captain. We win a championship. I'm an NBA prospect. There's actually an NBA ESPN article my junior year it was titled "How Did I Get Here?" Because it was like I don't really understand what this is now. You guys are saying my name and saying the NBA, but going to the NBA after that, which was I'm trying to fast forward because the story is really long, and if I start,
we have time. We want to know your whole story. I want to know.
Yes, and so I, but it's the journey for me. Sometimes it doesn't make sense in some ways. I worked my tail off, yes, but a lot of people work their tails off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I had this guy that came up to me when I was in high school. This is after I got cut in high school. His name is Keith Oddister, right? An angel on earth for me at the time. And he comes to me and says, "Hey, I want you to play on my summer basketball team." And at the time, I don't know people. I just came from Nigeria. I don't know anybody here. And I was like, my parents say don't talk to strangers. I'm okay.
Yeah.
But this guy, he took me in as he was like a father to me because my family, I didn't say this. I left my family back in Nigeria and I came here by myself to live with my uncle at the time. So
at 16,
at 14,
14, sorry.
And at this age,
leaving your family.
It was tough. It was tough. And I needed some guidance. You know, I was lonely and, basketball also I was excited to play with this guy's team, but he was a lot of things for me. He was a mentor. He was a father for me. He was all these different things that helped guide me, helped me push through these barriers that I found at the time. And till today, he's still like a father figure to me, and so it's just a beautiful relationship. And it just shows you how God can bring situations. It really doesn't matter where you start off or where you are right now. You know what I mean? And so people looked at me, the world looked at me, the coaches looked at me, teammates looked at me as a guy who had never played basketball before at 16. He was very raw. There was no chance. So everybody else, I'm way too far behind. And it's funny how
stories.
Yeah, like it's funny how the journey goes where
you ended up a first round draft pick, right?
I was a first round draft pick in the NBA.
Yeah, 30th, number 30.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's when I say God can take you from zero to hero in a moment. His timing is so we can't even grasp his timing because we think there's like a set of rules that we have to go through to get to, to be in that moment. But like you said, you have no idea. It's crazy. It's crazy faith. You said that to me on the phone.
Crazy faith.
It's crazy faith.
But not to plug Rebuilding the Beast. But
we want to plug it. That's why we're here. Yeah.
Yeah. So Rebuilding the Beast, that's actually what that concept is, right? To me, I say, God gave you this mountain so you can show others it can be moved. And when you think about your obstacles and your challenges this way, you understand that you are the person that can do it. It's kind of like that same idea of, God gives his toughest battles to the strongest soldiers. That idea, there is something in you. There's something that you have.
I know.
And I'm sorry to.
No, you're so good because I'm always like, you don't speak of the mountain, you speak to it. And you say move. You tell it to move, right? There's power and authority in our spoken word, and so you're a living proof of this. So your story is so encouraging to me.
We all are.
I
that's
know.
like it's not even that. That's actually why I started this, because I got to meet a lot of people, and there's so many conversations that we're having about this. There's just different people, whether it's my friends who are athletes or celebrities or just people I meet outside. We have these conversations, and you'll be surprised at the stories you'll hear. I can tell you a story right now I had with a guy a couple of weeks ago. I was here in LA. People talk to me all the time, right? I'm 6'11", and we talked about this. I'm approachable, right? There's something about my
the Uber driver on the way.
It's something about it. And I always say that there's, how do I even start? Because I also want to talk about the show we talked about earlier, the show God Friended Me. Actually, let me start there because this is important. There's a show called God Friended Me. And in that show, God is a Facebook friend, and he friends this guy. But the premise of the show is that there are people that come into his life, right? And he thought that God was sending him these people. He thought like he was trying to figure it out. Why are you suggesting these Facebook friends that I end up run into in real life. But the idea of the whole show is there's a reason why you are running into these people.
Yeah.
You actually play a role in their lives, and they're going to play a role in your
Yes.
life. And it's just this, there's something about the universe. And so I always see it that way. And I'm like, I've been asking God, like, what is it about my journey? What is it that I'm supposed to do here? Like, why did you give me this mountain? Right? And so my mountain is, I made it to the NBA and got to the NBA, and it's all happening so fast. I worked so hard. I did all these things, and now it's paying off. And I'm a first round draft pick. Now I get to the Warriors. At the time they hadn't this Golden State Warriors. Nobody really cared about them. They were the worst team in the NBA, and now everybody knows who the Golden State Warriors are, even if you don't watch basketball.
Right.
But that's because from there, we started off, there was a Steph Curry that people didn't really, they were like, well, he was good in college, but we haven't heard from him while he was injured. We had some guys trying in the works, and Draymond Green was actually picked behind me in the draft. So there's all these sleepers on the team, and we start off just with crazy faith, right? We had this belief, we're like, okay, we're gonna go make the playoffs. And people are like, what are y'all talking about? You are rookies. Like, you don't know what the NBA life is like. You don't know how hard of a grind it is.
Yeah.
We're like, yo, we just believe. And I'm not gonna say it was easy, but lo and behold, we made it to the playoffs. And then
But
we're
you
like,
said
we want to keep going.
Yeah.
We're gonna win. And people are like, no, you're not gonna win anything. Like, what are you? You just got here. And we end up beating the higher seed that round, and we actually almost beat San Antonio. We were still young and we were figuring things out, but eventually, like, that crazy faith led to a championship, and it led to several championships for the organization. But it's just this idea that you just never know.
You never know.
Sorry, my stomach is rumbling.
No,
but
you are. Can we get some food up here?
can you-
Yeah, I'll call craft
Craft
services.
services.
Craft services downstairs. Yeah. Irena's craft services.
I'm like
It's
some
okay.
like crackers or nuts
No, I don't eat
or
before
something.
noon. I don't eat
Oh,
before
you don't.
noon.
You do the
No, it's
fasting.
the
Intermittent fasting. So, but you're right. I say this all the time and there's so many spots in my life and my daughter's life, and I'm sure Bob's life, where you really don't think it's going to happen, and then all of a sudden, and what you just said, my daughter and I talk about this. Speak it as though it is so. Sometimes all you have to have is the faith of a mustard seed, right?
Yeah.
And that little seed, as a team, you guys won a championship.
In different aspects of my life, I keep seeing where people have challenges and they look at it and they're like, they speak life into it. They say, I'm going to be this. And they end up becoming even greater than that thing. Because I came to America when I left, when the plane was actually, we were just talking about this last night. When I was leaving Nigeria, I said, I'm not coming back here until I accomplish something for myself and for my family, something that they can be proud of. I came back to Nigeria 2 years ago. This is my first time being back. I left in 2004, came back in 2019.
With an NBA championship ring.
I
With an
know,
NBA
right?
championship ring. But talking to the kids, I did an NBA camp in Abuja, in Nigeria, in the capital. 3,000 kids show up.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there talking to the kids. I'm talking life into them the same way Keith Audister spoke into me. And I said, listen, you just don't know what's inside of you. And it's okay. Right now, at this point in your life, maybe you never know. Maybe you don't see it yet. But look at me and look at what God has done in my life. Just believe that you can. Don't let the circumstances make you feel like you can't do it anymore, because that's what happens in life, right? Like things start, you start, actually, matter of fact, you start off on the journey, you're like, I'm going to go do this great thing. And then people start throwing some rocks at you, and all of a sudden you hit a wall, and after a while you're like, I'm tired. I'm going to go do something else. Or I'm going to lay down and just be done with it. But I'm saying the idea of rebuilding the beast is just keep going. You're going to stumble, build yourself back up and keep going on this journey. You just don't know what's at the end of the road. You are a beast, and you can do this. There's a beast inside of you. And at the end of this journey, you'll see why you went through all those challenges. So this is why,
And there will 100% be challenges,
absolutely.
And I always say this, it's like new level, new devil.
Well,
You
first
get
of all,
to that-
it's
that
not
next-
worth it if it's not earned.
That's right.
And if it comes easy, you won't appreciate it. But it took you a long time, so you really appreciate where you got, and now you give back.
Yeah, that's another thing. There's I have a bunch of sayings and stories. I
want to know it all. I'm like, oh my God,
this
this
podcast
is such
will
good.
be 5 hours long.
This is good.
No, so the saying, the saying, like, everybody prays for cake. We all pray for cake, but God gives you the flour, the eggs, the whatever ingredients you need for a cake.
Butter. I like butter.
Butter.
In my cake.
Chocolate frost.
You need chocolate frosting in there.
Yeah.
He gives you even the oven.
Everything. Yeah.
But then you see all this and you get frustrated and you leave the kitchen because you're like, that's not what I wanted. You know what? I've been looking at this quote because, like, I have this. I have a very overactive mind sometimes, and so I sit there and I stare at quotes because they stand the test of time. I'm like, why is this still true today? What is it about this quote that relates to me and my journey? And I was looking at this quote, like, what does this mean? And so I keep going around asking people, like, yo, you heard this quote? What you think about it? And so I was sitting one day with my best friend, and we're sitting there talking, and he was like, what if God didn't give you the cake? Or maybe he could give you the cake, but what if he didn't give it to you because you would eat it? What if he gave you the ingredients because when you bake, other people eat it? I was like,
It's deep.
I was like,
Drop the mic.
wait, what?
Right?
And I'm sitting there like,
good.
it's so true. Like, your journey, you ask for this thing and you say, this is what I want, God. This is me. I want all these things. But if you got it the way you wanted it, it would just be for you.
I say it all the time, and I've been quoted as saying, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans.
Yeah. Well,
Because they're not the same as his, and his are far greater than what we could even imagine. And so, to your point, what were you going to say, Bob?
I'll give you a better one. The guy behind Yale Motivation, the main guy with the hat is Angus Benfield.
Yeah.
We interviewed him, and he said he believes that God burns couches. So when you're sitting and you're all comfortable on your couch, God's going to burn the couch. Now you got to get up and do something else. And now you're motivated to do something because you don't have what you felt was comfortable. So he said, God burns couches.
Burns couches.
Yeah.
I like that.
Burns
Is that
couches.
from the guy from Parks
That's-
and Rec?
No.
No,
It looks like him.
looks like him.
Yeah,
looks
he's
like
a
it.
very funny. He's a director, producer, actor. He puts these movies together for very reasonable budgets, and they make it back 3-4 times at the box office, and then you release it on DVD. It's very good.
So you
He's got one coming up. It's about this 6'11" tall Nigerian man who comes here and plays basketball. You'd love the script.
I know. So
I don't know if you're the right guy for
nickname's
it, but you'd love the
Fez.
script.
I think the character name is Fez, right?
Yeah.
Sounds right up my alley. They need an actor. Let me know.
I see it. So you are in the NBA then, and you won a championship, and you're on top, right? I mean, life is
Now,
good. Things
Hang
are
on. Answer me this, because this is what I've always said. The worst day in any professional sports person's life is the second or third day after they win the championship. You won it, you had the big party. The next day, you had the big party. Then the third day, you're like, well, I got to clean out my locker. I got 6 months off. What do I do? And it's like this letdown. Or did you like keep
false.
going? Really?
Absolutely false.
I would
That's-
say he's
Yeah,
grateful. He's
you're
a grateful
running,
guy.
You're running high the whole summer. Matter of fact, I thought that everybody around the world, everywhere I traveled, was celebrating my championship everywhere I went. You are in a little bit like oblivion of like, dude, nobody really cares. Like you're the one that. Well, actually, that's not true. People
They
did
care, but like
People-
life rolls on
life
into the
keeps
next
going.
day. Yeah.
But you know what I will say to that though, there is some truth to that because the thing about winning and getting to the mountaintop, as we all say, is because it's this feeling of where else is there to go?
What's
from
next?
here? And I think that was the thing that we felt after we won is we have to win this again. There's what this doesn't even make sense unless you win it again. You know, and we all do that in our lives. You know, back to rebuilding again. So there's this constant theme, and there are so many lessons that I've learned along the way. You know, I've been the guy that was rejected. Right, I was the guy who came here with no direction. I didn't really have my family with me. I was lost and alone, and I was confused, and there were so many things that were going on at the time. And God took me to where I never even I couldn't even imagine it. There's so many stories. Like my uncle took me to my first NBA game. My first NBA game. This is when I was 15 years old. I just came from America. I just came from Nigeria to America. And he took me to an NBA game. It was in Sacramento. We're living in Yuba City at the time. You guys don't even know what that is here in California. It's an hour north of Sacramento.
Sacramento, I know where that is because I'm from up north. So.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So Yuba City, small farm town,
Yeah.
which, by the way, nobody told me about this plan before I came to America. I thought that I was going to New York or
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Vegas, any of the things that you see on TV, Miami, any of these things. That you
It's
see
a
on TV
movie
back
in your
home.
head that you're
So
like,
I'm
yeah.
like, I fly to New York. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. I fly to San Francisco from there. Like, oh, wow, this is great. I drive through
Yeah.
Sacramento. I'm like, all right, okay, cool. And then up, still going farm. I'm like, what is going on?
Where am I
I
headed?
left this place to come here.
Yeah.
It's funny because even in the midst of all that, you know, people ask me all the time, how did they find you? How did Vanderbilt find you in Yuba City? That's what I'm telling people. Like, your light, it doesn't matter where you are. I didn't have to be in New York. I didn't have to be in the big city.
Yeah.
It came to get me. Like, yo, you have an appointment. You have things to do.
You have an appointment.
And this is what God is. So
Literally have goosebumps all over. I'm like chill. It's like chills.
this is, but for me, it's kind of, I keep saying, like, I kept asking God, what is the purpose of this? Like, even me coming to speak to you today, like, I was sitting here and I was thinking in my mind, and I said, why is my friend introduced me to this person? What is the purpose? Like, I even called you on the phone, like, yo, I don't know why, but I feel like there's a synergy here.
Yeah.
Even if she said it, I follow God's word. I follow the fact that, you know, I didn't know that guy, Keith Oddister, and he came into my life. I didn't know the coaches that I had along the way, but they came into my life and they pushed me and they helped me along the way. But I also contributed to their success. My college coach won a championship, but he bet on this kid that didn't know what he was doing. But he saw something in me. I don't know what it is. Maybe it was just, you know, I had an extra scholarship, you know, but
God knows. He knew what it was. And
so for all of us.
And we talked about that on the phone. Oftentimes, like, that door will knock. And in my past, I've said, oh, no, I'm busy or whatever. You know, I mean, I've always tried to serve. But when it's of him and about him, there's a momentum, right? And then this morning, you know, the guy canceled your Uber. And I was like, all right, devil, you are not getting this. I'm not getting this today, right? Because sometimes, like, the enemy tries to come in and...
Literally my Instagram post today.
Was
That's
it really?
what you just said.
I did not see your Instagram. I'm not kidding.
It's so funny. I said, like, you have a destiny, and a lot of us, we try to make plans, and we like, no, I'm going to do all these things. I want to get all my ducks in a row. But sometimes you don't realize that as you're planning, the devil is also planning too.
Yeah.
And it's like you have to be able to work through these things, these challenges, these obstacles, but you know what? At the end of the day, you need it. You need challenges. That's the only way you get
plan
through.
survives meeting the enemy.
It doesn't.
I love it.
And God says,
it.
I work all things together for his good, right? He will. And he has a plan and a purpose. And honestly, I thank you for listening to this plan, because I'm so grateful. Blushing a little bit.
I think God's plan was for him to meet you and then eventually meet me.
I think
a good
you
laugh.
think that's God's plan. But yeah, maybe it is God. Who knows? He's got our back is really, and I always say this, and I've said this a million times on the show, but you know, we all get up and we put our clothes on. And sometimes, and I'm guilty of it, of not putting God's armor on, the helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, the shield of faith, the sword of the Spirit, the belt of truth, and the sandals of peace. And I feel like the days that I put that on, things kind of repel. And the days that I don't, I get stuck in the sticky tape or the, you know, quicksand, or the enemy tries to come up against me. And I know that sounds super religious, and it's not about religion. It's really not for me. I'm a Christian, and I've talked about it, but it's more of a relationship, right?
I just want to know if God makes them in extra tall. The
I
sandals and
I was going to ask, you're putting on your
does.
armor, your shield, but then sandals? You don't put
Sandals
shoes?
on
Yeah,
the
who goes to
bottom?
war in sandals? Put
I
shoes
mean,
on.
but you know, if it's godly, then you can come in
Yeah, that's
anything.
true. That's
You
true.
can come in
you can be
anything.
like David and just come from the park, come
Although
from the stream,
if-
and go into the battle. Sorry.
That's
If
right.
Achilles was wearing shoes, he'd still be alive today.
Okay.
Boots.
Do you know an extraordinary child, a budding superstar who is ready to take on the world and who loves to have fun? If so, he or she deserves a chance to shine at a children's business fair, a one-day event where young people can launch and showcase a business. You'll be amazed by what children can accomplish, and it's a great way to bring neighbors together amid sunshine and laughter. At a children's business fair, children will make something with their own hands, sell it safely, and experience the freedom of having a little extra spending money as a reward. It takes less than 10 minutes to apply and as little as 3 hours to plan a fair. Just set up a few tables on a lawn and send a few emails to friends and family. You can host a fair for free, and we'll even chip in up to $500 of prize money. Sound too simple? Join parents who want to equip and inspire their children to shine in the real world. Start your audition to host a children's business fair in your community or find out more at podcast.childrensbusinessfair.org. Well, Festus, so I have so many questions.
You had him at join the NBA, won his first championship.
Yeah.
And then do you get traded or do you ask to move? How do you get to Portland?
No, my contract runs up. And
How many years were you at Golden State?
I was there for 4 years.
4 years, okay.
My
and
contract
you became a free
runs
agent?
up. I became a free agent.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, I became a free agent, and the Golden State Warriors picked up KD, and that was, they had no room for extra players. And I went to Portland. I was excited to go to Portland. I thought that it was the next step for me. Like my evolution was going to take that next jump, and I was excited to be that guy.
I have a quick question just from a mother's standpoint. When you called your mom and you told her, I'm in the NBA. I just made the NBA.
I'm sure your
My
mom was watching the
mom
draft.
was with me.
Yeah.
She was with you.
She was with
Were
me.
they here or did you go back there?
No, they were here.
They
They
were, okay.
at the time. Well, now they're here as well. But at the time, they just moved to the country, and so I was so excited to be with them. I didn't want to go to the draft. I wanted to spend it with my family. I felt like, but that's kind of my spirit. It wasn't about the lights and just being on the scene on the stage. It was just more about just sitting there with the people that had been with me.
But to give your mom and dad the memory of watching you put on the hat or the jersey or whatever you're putting on when you get drafted, that lives with them forever.
This is true. For everybody has their own thing, and sometimes I do wish that I went as well. But the way it happened for me, like I love that memory so much, of me. Like my dad is a very stoic man, and he never really showed emotion, but he understood. He never really shows emotion, but he understood when he saw me in that moment break down, and they called my name, like. I start crying. I go to my dad and I put my head on his shoulder. And my dad is like he starts we never had that type of
Well, you
bond.
had
We're men. We're men.
I have the same father.
We're men. We're like
father.
be manly, be tough, and then after.
You also spent many years apart because you
spent
came
some time
here
apart.
to pursue that, right? That's a sacrifice for your parents,
Absolutely.
So that's amazing that they did that because that's love.
It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a journey that God put in all our hearts, because I never, even coming to America was like, oh, okay, I'll go. And it's that moment I started to play all these things, getting drafted. I'm playing, getting cut. I'm playing, people laughing at me, saying like I'm big for nothing because I couldn't play basketball. People making fun of I'm from Africa. My accent was very thick at the time. People making fun of that. And just all these things, all these obstacles that were in the way. And I just kept thinking in my mind, I'm like, man, God, why did you bring me here? What was the point of this? I'm alone. Like birthdays, Christmas by myself. My uncle is a doctor, so he was doing the best he could. But he has on call. He has people that he has to take care of. So it was just like, wow, like why am I here? And, eventually.
God said, just wait.
We all
says,
have.
Be still and know that I am God.
Man, it's hard to be still.
It's very, very hard.
It's hard to be still. To see yourself waiting, and you see other people winning, and you start. People were actually wondering, like, dude, why are you? Like, where are you? What's going on with you? They're calling my parents, like, and eventually, like, those same people were watching me on TV. They were coming to games, and so it's just like you just don't know.
You don't know. I say this all the time, don't I? I mean, you just don't know. And to anyone listening, like you might be depressed or sad or think that God can't fix something or move a mountain, and you don't know.
A guy who never saw basketball until he was 16 and brought him to a championship NBA game in 10 years, 15 years. How long did it take you to get there?
To get to a championship game?
2015 you won it?
2015, I was, 22?
22, okay, so in less than 10 years.
It's like 8 years.
8 years you go from picking up
That's
your
amazing.
first basketball to winning a championship.
That's amazing.
And how humble is him, doesn't wear his ring.
I know. He's so
Actually,
humble.
I gave it to my mom.
Did you?
I can't even. I can't.
But it's the sacrifice, right? It's
No, it's like you're just amazing. And we talked a little bit about this too. I'm totally jumping all over the place because we had a little bit of a 20-minute, pre-interview. But you are such a man of faith, and he has a favorite number, 3, and you tried to get that number when you were playing, right, in the NBA, and you ended up through many requests ending up with the number 31.
Yeah, so I was number 3 in college. The 3 is my lucky number. I've always thought that. And when I got to the NBA, it was taken. So I kept running through all these different other numbers. All right, what about 30? What about 13? What about 33? And they were all taken. And it's like 31. All right, I can make it work.
That's good.
As long as I have 3 in this. So
Yeah.
it was like 3.1.
3.1.
Yeah.
That's
good.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So it served me well as well. So I just.
Did you keep your number when you went to Portland?
I did.
Good.
I did.
So you're in Portland. At what point in your career did you got injured?
Yeah, so that was actually a really hard time for me because I signed with Portland. Like I said earlier, I had this goal, and the goal for me was that I was taking the next step in my career, right? I was going to be a starter. I was going to play these minutes. I was going to show all these things I wasn't able to show because I was a part of this organization, this group that needed me to play a certain way, which I will always play my role to the best of my ability. Now Portland wanted me to do a little bit more, and I was excited about that. I was excited about the evolution, and it's like, I had an injury that just kept lingering, and Portland knew about it. They tried to rehab me back from it, and it could never get right. I had a
knee, right?
A knee issue. I had I had a couple torn ligaments in my knee. I had a cartilage defect that came from a previous botched surgery I had. But it was just one of those things where I looked at God and said, I've done everything the right way. It was a really hard time for me mentally. And even going back into that space right now, thinking about it, like it was hard. It was hard. It was hard to sit here and say, I'm committed to this team and I'm ready to help you help be a part of taking you guys to the next level. And I'm talking about Portland now. And not being able to show up for the team, and people are looking at me like, "What's going on?" I'm looking at God like, "What is going on?" And that was really, really hard for me. It's still something that I am working through today, because my word is my bond. I've always said, like, when I say something to you, I'm going to do this for you. Like I will almost break my back to make sure it happens. Before I was drafted to the Golden State Warriors, I said I will run through a wall for you, for my teammates. Put me in a good team, I will run through a wall for them. I said that same thing to my college coach. And he said, all right, we're going to test this theory. And I showed him. Like, that's my way of, you're giving me a chance. I'm on the floor. I'm doing this thing that I love. I will do everything to the best of my ability. And my body wouldn't let me do it when I got to Portland, and it really devastated me. And since then, I've been on this recovery journey, and the recovery journey it's been long. I've been out since 2017, and since that time, I've had multiple surgeries. I have, this is not even something that I like to talk about, but I am going to talk about it because it's something that, they told me there's a chance that I wouldn't play again. And when they told me this, I had a cartilage transplant, first NBA player to do it. And these are all things that I'm like, God, why me? I feel like I do what you're asking me to do. I'm working hard. I'm treating people the right way. I'm being a good citizen of, like, what is it? Why me? And the end of this was, I have given you this mountain so you can show others it can be moved.
I love that. And this show is not about me, but I will tell you this. I took a 13-year sabbatical from acting when my daughter was born, and I became a single mom. And I wanted to be with her. So I fell back on my trade, and I did hair and makeup for many years. But I had this desire in my heart to keep going. And when she was 15, I said, I have this desire. You're busy now, and I want to go back to acting. And she actually looked at me and said, okay, Mommy, let's pray about it. So we prayed, and a year later I got a show and a movie. But I remember in between that year, one of my friends said, you will never play a leading lady again. And I went home and I buried myself in the pillow. I was like, oh, that hurt, right? She's like, you're too old. You're not going to play a leading lady. And long story short.
No, keep going. I'm in it. I'm in the story with you.
God has a funny sense of humor, and you don't tell him what is going to happen to somebody else's life, right? And I ended up booking the lead in God's Not Dead, which wasn't about the role or me. It was a movie about God that glorified him. My character got to like glorify him. The character he gave me was my life story, really. And it couldn't have been written any better. And so when I say, you just don't know what's around the corner, and then you come in today and you are piggybacking on that with a confirmation of the same, that's your mantra. Like I'm saying it to you, you just don't know what's around the corner.
So I will tell you this, and this is actually something that I've had to come to the realization of, is when people tell you something, you can't do this, I don't think you can. Matter of fact, I'll go back to my Instagram post today again, because I have to keep speaking life into myself and speaking life into other people. Einstein has a quote, it says, imagination is the preview to life's coming attractions. And the problem with that, and the problem with being a visionary, the problem with being the person who's gifted, is you can see, like a lot of times, like you can see the thing, like you can I want to do this thing. But the problem is you go from that future to your reality and you're like, wow, like look at this distance I have to travel. Other people see that distance and they start putting their thoughts on it, like, because they look at themselves and say, well, I can't do that. So that's really what they're saying. They're not saying that you can't do it. They're telling you that they can't do it.
Projecting.
That's the problem. But when we're hearing them, they're telling us that we can't do it. This is the problem with gifted people, right? You have to, and when I'm saying that people are gifted, it's not, there's no special, like everybody has a gift. The gift in people, like, and the problem with gifted people is that you can't see yourself. We can see each other. I can see Bob. Yeah. But I can't see myself. And so the problem is you have to, or not the problem, your job is to have mirrors around you. That's why you need a mirror. And your mirror is your friend. Your mirror is the people that you're surrounded by. They speak life into you because they tell you who you are. I had a conversation with one of my best friends a couple of days ago where I was like, man, you know what? Like, I'm really not feeling that good today. I don't know. Like, I'm doubting. And he was like, dude, do you know who you are? Do you know what you do? Do you know what? And he spoke that baker analogy to me again. Listen, you are the baker. We spoke for like 5-6 hours. We were sitting, walking up and down. It looked like we were on a date. Me and my boy. We was walking, and I can't see anybody else. I am just in my head because my wheels are spinning. And then he just went in there and took these wheels and threw them away. Like, dude, you are the guy. This is what you're supposed to do. Stop worrying about what people are thinking. Stop worrying about do what God gave you to do. Use your gift. And so a lot of times also you start thinking like, I'm an actress, right? And you start pigeonholing yourself because you're like, what do actresses do? And it's like, no, you are Cory. Like your journey is not that like you can do makeup. You can do other things. You are a mom. Like there are so many gifts that you have that you feel like, well, no, I got to go do what the best actress does because I'm trying to fit into her box. No, you don't. You're not her. You're not her. You're not on her journey. She did what she had to do with her talents that she had. You have way more talents. You have things that you can do that's beyond acting.
And it says in the Bible, delight yourself in the Lord and he will give you the desires of your heart. Right? And if that desire is in there, and I've actually said to him, God, if this is not what you want me to do, take the desire out. I'll do whatever you want me to do. I really will. Just take that desire out. So if that is your desire, Festus Ezeli, you don't know what's around the corner. I mean, if that's in your heart, you just don't know. I don't know what's in your heart. He's given you gifts and they're irrevocable. And sometimes, life happens. It wasn't a knee surgery for me. It was a divorce and having to raise a child and, but then he took it and turned it all around. And so I'm excited for you because I know he's got big plans for you. And then you take your gift and you're teaching thousands of kids and, you're rebuilding the beast with a podcast, Rebuilding the Beast, right? How many people can you help with that? That's all of us are struggling right now, right? This is a huge pandemic, a worldwide pandemic, and people are wondering what's next for their lives. And all it takes, and I have a little piece of paper, and I'll have to give it to you, Bob, to superimpose. You know who Greg Louganis is. It's a long story of how I got this piece of paper, but he wrote, Cory, believe in yourself, Greg Louganis. Right? You just have to believe in yourself.
It was after he hit his head, right?
Yeah, after he hit his head. But, gold medal.
Yeah, really.
Okay. I mean, come on.
Just get that one?
Jeez. Yeah, I did just get it. It just went right over my head.
I love you guys' dynamic, by the way.
So grateful for you. Are you kidding? So I actually, if we can, because I was texting my daughter last night.
Oh, yes. Oh, the good questions.
Q&A section, yeah.
The good questions.
The good questions.
She actually blows my mind. And I'll tell you a little snippet about her.
That's what, yeah, no.
I know, right?
when I get a little nervous when we got the millennial questions.
College student, uh-oh.
Like, oh, man.
You're going to be proud of her. And she, just a little side note, and I've said this before, but you don't know this. She's much like you in many ways. As she went to Oaks Christian, and she is a private school in Westlake Village or whatever. And they give you the opportunity at those schools to play many different sports to see what you like from like 6th to 8th grade. And so she tried everything and didn't quite, so she thought, I'm going to get on the soccer team. So she tried out for soccer and didn't make the team because she hadn't played all the other years. So she got home that night and I said, let's cry tonight, but you go get yourself on the water polo team tomorrow. And the next day she gets in the car. I go, well, she goes, I'm on the team. So this was she was 15 years old, freshman in high school. She gets on the water polo team at 15. Her dad becomes very, very sick. It was just a tragic what happened to him. That's another show. But she gets in the pool every single solitary day and does her very, very best. She's sophomore year. Her team goes to the Junior Olympics, and they didn't have any subs. It was 6 girls, really. It was like Bad News Bears 2.0. She gets in the pool, and for 7 games in 4 days, they helped lead the team to victory, and they won a bronze medal that year. Then the next year, she's a junior, and they do the same thing, and she wins another bronze medal from the Junior Olympics. And so when I said to you earlier on in this podcast how God can supernaturally expedite you in any situation, and it also saved her sweet little self because she got to get in the pool every day and get out a lot, while she was also there for her dad. It blows my mind what God can do, right? And so last night I texted her, and I'm spending the whole time crying in this, but it's not tears of sadness, it's tears of joy, because you're a real confirmation for me. She sent me 5 questions for you. So these are from Ariana.
Let's go, Ariana. Love it.
You
love
would love
it. I'm
her.
a big
She's
fan
so
of you
sweet.
already.
Oh, thank you. I'm literally really am crying. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry, is that good? One more. Okay. Okay, one more, Bob. He's killing me here. Okay.
I'm just watching what the side camera sees.
Okay, sorry. Thank you. So what is the most valuable lesson you've learned as you've played this sport at a professional level? No pressure, Ariana. That's such a good question.
I think I'll piggyback what I said before, because I think basketball is a metaphor for life. Mm-hmm. And
got that one right.
thank you. I think that the idea that you can accomplish great things no matter where you start, if you're willing to put in the work, because you have to be able to put in the work. I had to do things. I had to be very uncomfortable. I had to do things I had never done before to be able to get to where I never got, because it was like, okay, I want to do this thing. What are the ways to get there? I was in the gym morning, night, before practice, after practice. Like, I was trying to learn how to catch the ball. Like, do anybody?
Yeah,
do you guys
no, I
understand?
can't even imagine. No,
trying
I
to
can't.
learn. I had, like, matter of fact, let me even paint the picture even more. I had garden gloves on, and my friend, who's one of the assistant managers for the team, would come in midnight. Sam Ferry, shout out Sam Ferry, who's one of the coaches with Monmouth now University, and he would stay with me midnight. We'd be and what are we doing? We're catching tennis balls. We're catching basketballs.
Why the gloves?
Baseball. To make it harder.
Make it harder?
For me to learn how to catch the ball. I couldn't catch the ball.
So back up a second. So when you're growing up from 0 to 14 in Nigeria, are there any sports or
There's
anything?
sports all around me. I just wasn't interested. I was more of an academic.
Okay.
Was
there basketball there? You just
there
didn't
was
play?
not. Basketball wasn't a thing really. Like some guys would play
Right.
in our school, but it wasn't like a competitive thing. What we did was track and field, soccer, and like the sport track and field events, right? So like
javelin,
shot put, and those things that we would have.
The decathlon events, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And even then, like people were like, "Yo, don't you want to come play with us? Basketball, soccer, do something?"
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
That's why they started making fun of me. Oh, you just big.
So the bookworm becomes an NBA star. I love it, right?
It's so great. It's so great.
It's like I feel like that's.
Do you have
a movie.
glasses?
It is a movie.
Well, if we make the movie,
In the movie, you'll have glasses.
yeah,
Yeah.
I have to have glasses.
Not
Big
if.
one with a rubber band or a Band-Aid around them. Yeah.
It's not if, it's when.
Yes,
It's
yes.
when.
We just have to
Well-
take the 16mm camera and turn it so it's
That's
9 by
okay. We
16.
can make that
Because you
happen.
frame. We'll get there.
No, that's good. That's really good.
So yeah, no, it's that's my thing is you can achieve whatever you want. You have to be willing to work for it, and you never know what you can do with sports and life and anything. You kind of have to put it out there and just work for it. And if it doesn't work the first time, you just keep trying, keep going for it, and
And get excited.
know, yeah.
Right? Get excited. Bob's
Yeah.
going, yes. Okay, number 2 from Ariana. What is the best advice you would give your younger self? I always love this question.
If I had to speak to my younger self, the lonely, sad, confused kid, I think first off, I'll tell him that everything will be okay, because he was scared and he felt misunderstood and he was sad. He was sad at like his life, like his sad at God, like. What is the purpose of my life? Why am I here? And there were some crazy thoughts I used to think back in the day that were bad and sad, and I was just telling me it would be okay.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That actually, the fact that you were asking God at such a young age, what is my purpose, is amazing. You know,
I've always known God. That's the shout out to
Yeah.
my parents. Like I've always been in the church. It's just I never understood the role of God, because I used to think of God as a punisher. You do bad things and God will punish you. And that's what I just saw. So it was like this, all right, well, like, please help me
I'm
do
gonna
these
get in
things.
trouble.
Yeah.
But eventually my love for God grew, especially in these trying times, because I feel like, you know, there's one of my favorite things. Book movie is called The Shack.
Yes. Have you
The
seen the
Shack
movie?
Yeah.
Is
Oh my
my
gosh.
favorite thing in the world.
It's so good.
Who introduced me to it was my little sister. She's actually my cousin, but my little sister, Marie. And we're talking. And one day, you know, we're spending time. I haven't spent this much time. I was in the wheelchair. Oh, I didn't even say this to you guys. So
No.
after my surgery, I was in the wheelchair for 6 months.
Are you kidding?
And so I'm crying. I'm having a hard time. I'm just like, because I wasn't able to play in Portland. It's just a bunch of things happening in my life. And I'm just like, God, like, I'm watching the other guys win. My team keeps winning. The Warriors keep winning championships. I'm not somebody that really likes to compare myself. But you're sitting in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Like God, why? And so my sister, I'm spending a lot of time with my family. They're making sure I'm okay. They're just keeping an eye on me. Plus, I also can't go to the bathroom by myself, so they gotta help me.
Right.
And so 6 months is a long time.
It's a long time.
It's a long time.
It's like a racehorse being behind the gate for 6 months, waiting for that gate to open, right?
Yeah. I'm 6'11",
Yeah.
and my people didn't even know how tall I was during that time.
Right.
I'm in a wheelchair. So I'm spending time with my family. I spend time with my sister. And just getting to know her. Like, oh, what do you like? What's your favorite subject? My sister is super, super smart. She's 2 grades ahead, and she's the smartest one in the class.
Wow.
But that's beside the point. So we're hanging out, we're talking, and I'm trying to get to know her. Do you like boys? Like, she's like, boys, ew. I'm like, oh, thank God. Things like that. And so,
Thank God, he says. That's a cute
I don't have to
older
kill
brother.
somebody.
Yeah.
She's-
How old is she?
At the time, she was 10 years old. So,
Yeah.
like, I was just trying to figure out what's going on. But I'm always gone. Usually, I'm always gone
Yeah.
because of basketball. So, I had a chance to spend with my family. So, I'm looking at the positive and spending time with her. So, one days, I'm like, I ask a lot of interesting questions. So, I asked her, like, what's the last time you cried? So, she thought about it. And she told me about this movie that she saw recently. She saw it in catechism, actually. And she was like, wow, this movie was really good. I was
The
like, oh, I'll watch it. What's it called? The Shack? I'll watch it. And so she was like, oh, I'll watch it with you. Really? It was that good?
Aw.
She's like, yeah.
I want to watch
She
it
said,
again.
be careful, though. You're going to cry. I said, what are you talking about? Psh, yeah, right. Yo, halfway through this movie, because she's laying right in front of me. I'm like, it's really dusty in this room. What's going on?
Darn onions.
Man, yo, it's a
Yeah.
very sad, happy, beautiful, amazing. It will break you down to your core and bring you back up, because for me, that is actually the moment where my journey changed. And then I understood God put me in a wheelchair. I'm not meant to stay in the wheelchair, but God put me in a wheelchair because he wanted others to see this mountain get moved. I was trying to figure out, why is my journey so hard? The question was wrong. I was like, you're the one that's meant to do this. What am I meant to do with this journey? And so rebuilding the beast is a thing now, right?
Yeah.
Because of this. And it's a platform that I created because I'm like, wow, what can I do? Like, I'm a basketball player, yes, but I am able to relate with people. People are approaching me all the time, asking me about my height anyway. It's my in. And so we have conversations. I meet people all the time with beautiful stories. And, I want to take this into my world of basketball again. I can do this. I can make my way back. I can play basketball again. I could be an NBA player and get back to that level and do what I want to do and what makes me feel loved and fulfilled. Or not make me feel loved, but makes me feel fulfilled.
It's the desire of your heart. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'll also take these other things with me. I'll take the
Wow.
lessons I've learned. And so I'm rebuilding the beast that is within me. It's
And you're
basketball,
showing other
it's-
people that you can rebuild the beast, right? You're helping other people get to the point where they can rebuild the beast. I do see you. I put your thumbs
No,
up.
you didn't.
I
You didn't
actually went like
acknowledge it all.
this. Then you
Festus
caught
acknowledged it,
Festus's
and-
attention. And so, okay, so I have to interject for 1 second, Festus. I was on this show, Beverly Hills Pawn.
66 episodes
I
on
know,
the
it's
Real
like-
Network,
so-
5 years.
I wore this dress is not my actual wardrobe for the day, but we're giving it away. I have one of 5 dresses and we're giving it away. And so we're asking, this is the last show we're doing this on because this, like I said, is going to walk out the door. So I'm going to ask you to give me one word, and people watching are going to drop that word in the comments below on this episode. And then we're
I
going
like
to
how you
enter
learned
it.
the phrase "drop in the comments." That's a good phrase you learned.
Is it?
Yeah, that's the current phrase. Yes,
Oh, am I
you
really?
got it right.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you got it.
Okay. They're going to drop it in the comments below. And then we'll enter it into a drawing, and then I'll give this dress away so I don't actually have to wear it again on this show. It's one of 5, so I decided to give one away. So what's your word?
Should I make it hard or easy?
Anything you want.
Something everyone
Whatever
can
comes
spell.
to your mind.
I will spell it.
Okay. It's going to be on the screen in front of you. So.
So the word is
I'm trying this on my page.
Ifanye.
Ooh. Ooh. I love that word.
The word is I-F-E-A-N, Nancy, Y-I.
What does that mean?
That's actually my first name.
Is
Is
it?
it really?
Oh, I
And
love
this
that.
word means nothing is impossible with God.
I can't. You don't understand. I say that to my friend's husband every day. He is in a wheelchair for he's quadriplegic, and
Well, now you can just say "Ifanya."
I say nothing is impossible because the word itself says I'm possible.
Very
So
deep.
Ifanyi
that
is
is.
actually the short form of Ifanyi Chukwu, but yeah, Ifanyi.
Does the Chukwu mean anything?
Chukwu means God.
God?
Nothing is, I'm writing this, possible with God. Wow. Okay, first of all, props to your mom and dad. Just major props to your mom and dad.
Actually, funny part about that name. Okay, this is a little this is a little subset. I told you I've been hanging out with my mom a lot and my parents a lot, so I get all the stories now. And so, find out that my dad, my name is Festus because my dad is Festus,
Right.
and so he named me Festus. And my grandpa, who's his dad, comes to the hospital after I'm born. Like, wow, this is a handsome baby. What's his name? My dad says Festus. My granddad named him Festus after his best friend. My dad also names me Festus, and he's so excited because he names me and all this stuff. And so my grandpa was like, "What's his name? Festus." No, not another Festus. My dad apparently was a handful when he was growing up. No, not another Festus. And so my granddad actually names me Ifanyi, and part of the reason is because they tried for a while before they could get me, and it's just
Nothing is impossible with God.
And it's Ifanyi
Chukwu.
Chukwu.
That is so beautiful, and you have no idea how amazing that is. That is.
You caught Cory's attention.
You caught it on the phone on the pre-interview, but you know that is something I say all the time, and it's powerful. And I actually named Ariana because in Greek it means the Holy One. You can really speak over your kids, and so your parents.
They named me Bob because I float the pool up and down.
Bob, you really do slay me though. Okay, we're on number 3 questions for Ariana.
Yeah, let's go. This is great questions. You're making me like really dig in and get these stories too. I love it.
So number 4 is
3.
Number 3, right? Is what's your most valuable life skill?
Most valuable
Life
skill. I have learned from.
It's a good question, Ariana.
That's a very good question. I think so. One of the things that I've learned is that, traveling from Nigeria to America, being in, at the time, like, war-torn situations, and coming to America and, in kind of a, what I call a farm town. I don't know what Yuba City is. And then going to Nashville, to the South, Country Music Central.
Yeah.
Coming back, going to San Francisco, moving to Portland, traveling all over the world. My most important life skill that I don't know if I was born with this or I acquired it, is the adaptability I have. I'm able to fit in wherever I am. And it's also another, the skill that kind of goes with that is the ability to make people feel seen. I love learning. I love meeting people. I love seeing people and hearing their stories. And I think both those, they go together, is the ability to just be around people and fit in and see common ground. Actually, no, I like that one better. The ability to see common ground with different people I meet.
That's really good.
The whole point of the show.
Whole thing. Yeah, that's actually the entire. Is he not our divine appointment today?
He could be your guest host.
He could.
I'll sit here quietly.
Well, he has his own show. I mean, he's a big deal. He's
not there yet, but
yes, you are.
I'm just
Keep doing
doing
it.
my.
You'll get there.
Well, I'm going
I
to
will
speak
get
this
there.
over you.
Speak it.
That
Yes,
you will
let me
surpass
accept
even
it.
your own expectations.
Amen.
And that God will take it, and overnight He can do great things. Trust me when I say this, because that little movie we did, that was $1.2 million movie, like within 2 weeks, made over 100 million worldwide. Well, a few more months than that, but it just kept rolling. And when He's out of it, it's not the money, it's the people that it reached, right?
You put God's name in the title and it does well.
He's pretty good like that. God is good. Okay, number 4. Diana, I just love this girl. Who influenced you the most as a kid, and how did that impact you? Doesn't have to be just one person either.
A lot of people influenced me growing up. I had a beautiful family that loved me. I had people who came into my life that supported me and helped me along the way. I will give that to my mom. Her influence in my life is more than the love. It's more than not more than the love, more than the actual support that people see. It's the unconditional love. It's I have a place to lay my head. When the world falls apart and I'm in a wheelchair for 9 months or 6 months rather, sorry, and I'm recovering, I have somebody who is a prayer warrior, who is super mom, who is a hardworking, and in her life has shown more resilience than anybody I know, coming from where she came from and being able to make it and studying and being a lawyer and opening a school. And people said she shouldn't do it. And what qualifications do you have doing this? And now she has 1,500 kids in that school, moving to America, starting and buying a new school for special needs kids. Like, this woman and what she does with her life it's a blueprint. I've had somebody to show me the way, and her influence in my life has been mainly with love, because I think when she showed me what it was like to lead with love, the way that she treats people, the way that she makes people feel like they're so important. Like, everybody that meets my mother is like, wow, I love Patricia. Everybody. I haven't met anybody that doesn't like my mom. She makes everybody feel special. And that gift, I think it rubbed off on me a little bit.
It did.
Mainly for me, I think it was just love. Just having an ability to just show people love, whether they agree with you or not, whether they like you or not. Just like, well, I can't control it. It's just, I got to do what I got to do and show you that I care about you. You don't like me? That's fine.
I'm going to care. Yeah. And also, it must feel really good that when you are unable to move a mountain temporarily, she'll move it for you. Mother's love, man. We will move. We will move Mac. Silly. Oh, no. I'm telling you.
Man, there's been a lot of times where she, matter of fact, I had something done recently and she was there. She's like, no, cancel everything. I will be there.
Yeah.
And she's there sitting with me at midnight, like, calling on all the Holy Ghosts, and we're praying and we're sitting there and we're talking. And sometimes it might seem ridiculous, right? In my child brain,
yeah,
I was like, why are we doing all this?
Yeah.
Mom is always there to remind me. When I start feeling lonely, I start feeling like, you don't pray enough. You should pray. Talk to God. Listen to these words.
You get along with her mother great.
Really?
I'm a leader of the Moms in Prayer organization. Are you kidding? Like, that's the first thing my daughter said was, let's pray about it.
Pray.
Those were her words. And she said for 6 months, she prayed every night. I heard her saying, please, God, let my mommy get her own show. And then the next 6 months, you know what she said? I want to thank you in advance, God.
Woo! It's putting a little pressure on God.
No, what it's saying is, if Sammy, your daughter, goes to you, or you go to your mom, Patricia, and you say, hey, Mom, will you do this for me? And she says, yes, I will do that for you. You trust and you thank her, and she will actually take care of it.
Thank him and praise him in advance as if it is this day. It's actually like it's. And
she did, and then I did, and she believed. She was like, oh, okay. She just switched it over one night too. She was like, and thank you in advance. And I was like, wow, I was so excited.
And then God said, are you thanking me or reminding me?
No, well, you know what? Honestly, the greatest gift you can give your kids is the power of prayer. I mean, it does move mountains, and that's a bond with your mom. I love that what you just said about her. I mean, she's humble and kind, and honestly, I just met you. I spoke to you briefly on the phone, but you made me feel important in that moment.
You're important.
Thank you. But
I'm here.
I don't even need to feel important, but you really listened, and it was a divine appointment. This has been really, truly amazing.
Shout out to moms all over. Thank you guys for what you do.
Yes, it was just Mother's Day, so we'll just carry that on out.
Yeah.
Our last question from Ariana.
Ariana, you are killing it right now.
Isn't she?
Yes.
You both love her. She's
in
so
psychology
amazing.
courses?
She's sociology, but
there you go.
I know. I'm actually heading down after this to go help her move.
Coriolis Effect, the Ariana edition.
No,
right.
Ariana came up with the name.
Yes, the Ariana edition.
Yeah, she told me that.
Yeah, she did. She actually, we already covered this one. It said, how did your injury happen?
My injury
We
happened
didn't.
in
We
the
didn't
game.
cover this.
How it happened?
Yeah.
No, it
Okay,
happened. It happened in a game. I was going for just a regular basketball move, and a teammate of mine dove into my knee, and it didn't seem. I mean, I have a high pain tolerance, so I just kept going. I was like a little weird, wobbly. I was like, kept going. Next day, it's like, it's low. Kept going. It just kept getting worse, and so ended up having a surgery that didn't work out and for a lot of reasons. It's something that I have asked God to take that away from me, that feeling of, because I always felt for a long time like, it was such a bad decision. Like I should have, I could have done something better. I could have done more research. I could have figured it. It's happening the way it's supposed to. Yeah. And I'm on this journey now. Yeah.
No, you are. And I just see great things for you. I'm telling you, you have no idea.
Burn the couch.
Yep. He's so good.
You just criticized me for being negative all morning.
Am I?
You did.
I did?
You did.
Were you negative this morning?
I'm negative all the time.
Oh.
And we're back in 10, 97, 531.
Okay, Festus. Well, we have 3 questions. The first one is...
She's going to look over your shoulder
I am,
on the
because
wall.
I'm
if you see the wall, I had to write the question on the wall because she keeps getting it wrong.
I do. I do switch things around.
This is a woman who can read a script and memorize every line. No, she'll say it.
Oh.
You don't even know what I have to go through to memorize those lines, though. It's a lot.
But you do it.
I do.
And this is the same question you've asked in 32 episodes, and you still can't get it right.
I know. I can get it right. I'm going to get it right now. Because, you know why? Because how do I say it? Ifani. With God, all things are possible.
Right. Ask the question.
Describe, or... No, don't do that to me. Okay, Festus, use 3 words to describe yourself. That means I got it right.
3 words. Empathic.
Mm-hmm.
Is empathic and caring, is that the same thing? I feel like they're the same thing. Okay. All right. 3 words to describe myself. Wow. Tall. Empathic. Determined. Persistent. That word is all together.
That's a good one. It's a great one.
What's the word for like big dreamer? Is that a word? Is that a quality?
Absolutely.
Yes, I always say pray big and dream big. So that's good.
Yeah.
You have to be able to dream to make it a reality, right? Those are great words. Okay, so number 2.
A little bit of your Italian slipping in.
I know, I had. Is this Italian?
Yeah.
I think it is because wasn't it Joey from
Joey,
Friends?
yes.
He's Italian. They have a reunion coming up, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they filmed it. Should be dropping soon.
Sorry. Dropping his music.
I'm sorry. All right.
Releasing, airing.
Airing, yes. This is called the Rorschach test. Have you ever taken it?
No.
Okay, well, this
Have
is...
you seen the ink blot test? If you hold up an ink blot, say the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
So the first thing that comes to your mind. This is Bob's.
PG-13 here?
You can say whatever comes to your mind, but I'm sure it will be PG-13. So this is number 1. Okay.
A crab. Pumpkin, Halloween.
Yeah. I can see them. Oh, sorry.
2 people dancing like in front of each other. A bat. Esophagus.
Yes.
The tract.
First of all, that was the fastest ever.
Yes. And
Which
by
you're
the way,
genius, that means.
That means you're very intelligent, because the real test is not what you see. It's how well you describe what you see, how fast you answer, whether you keep going to different answers and stuff. There's a whole psychological test. But you see things, you just go.
I feel like you did a good job of explaining what the test was. So for me, it was
no, that was quick. That was like, whoa. And then...
And we play a lot of charades, too.
Yeah. And the last one is...
And don't feel obligated.
And don't feel obligated just because I'm sitting right here. No. I know I'm like starting to sweat. And nowadays, I don't know if it's these 17 lights or the fact that I'm in menopause or it's just hot in here.
There's no way you're in menopause.
Okay. So, who is your celebrity crush?
Somebody asked me this question recently.
Again, don't feel obligated.
He doesn't.
Just kidding. No, who
My
is your real celebrity
celebrity
crush?
crush.
Mhm. You could have more than one. You could be Cory Oliver and
Could be a religious podcast.
Cory Oliver is definitely my new favorite celebrity crush.
I'm so messing with you.
When I was growing up, I used to love Halle Berry.
Yes.
I grew up with like just
Yeah.
her. I loved J-Lo. I thought they
Yeah.
were just beautiful, strong, amazing
Yes.
women.
Whoa, hey, hold on 1 second. J-Lo, she's newly single. I'm just saying.
No, she just got Ben Affleck and her just went away for the weekend or something.
I don't know that my mom would approve because she's ready to be a grandma.
Oh,
So,
she wants to be a grandma.
Yeah, I might get canceled.
Yeah.
But you know, I think I've used up all my like exploratory cards, right? Like with so I was gonna go play basketball and they were like, we sat around the table like, you don't want to go to Harvard. So these are all things I feel like I've exhausted. So now I'm like, all right, now it's gonna get a little tighter when I try to convince them I want to go do something else.
You're right. Well, then that's what we need to pray for, is that.
I think that one of the things and one of the things that has happened for me over the last couple of years especially is I want to be more intentional in life. I don't just want to discover basketball and say, oh, well, like I want to go and say, okay, this is something that makes me feel like I have purpose and this is something that I enjoy doing and follow that. And so in that, along those lines, I've been very, very careful about the people that I bring into my circle. And it's like, it's one step at a time with me. Like a lot of people, like they see like they see the light, right? They see the person who's like, it's taken a lot of work to be this person. And so they're like, oh yeah, like this is great. And I'm like, no, like you have to get to know me. You have to know the levels, everything but underneath that is me. And so that's also part of the process of.
Well, the Bible says to guard your heart, that it's the wellspring of life.
Absolutely.
So it's okay to do that. We're going to wrap up, but I've only done this one other time, but I'm going to do it now because I feel led to.
Let's pray.
Do a seance.
What?
You gonna do a seance?
I'm all sweaty. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
And Bob, you have to stand in agreement with us.
Yes.
Heavenly, you don't have to play that music, but Heavenly Father God, we just thank you first and foremost for this divine appointment. I thank you for making a way for Festus to be here today, and I just thank you for all the blessings that you give us on a daily basis. And you say when two or more are gathered, there you are in the midst, and when there's a cord of three, it cannot be broken. So I'm asking right now that you continue to just guide Festus in all that he does, and that you grant him the desires of his heart, and that you take his gifts to another level, God. And I ask and place a hedge of protection around him from the crown of his head to the soles of his feet, Father. Let no weapon formed against his career prosper. Your word says, greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. And he is so about you and of you and for you. And so we thank you, Father, for this time. We just ask that you continue to bless him in all that he does. And we just ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Plus, while we're here, God, I just want to pray for everybody who gets to hear this message. Everybody who needs to hear this message. I pray that they get to hear this and it inspires them to keep going, to push a little bit more. I pray for each one of us here that our journeys, that we get to understand that we are all bakers in our own rights, and our journeys are bigger than us, and we get to use our stories to inspire other people. In Jesus' name I pray.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you for today.
My mom would be so proud.
She should be.
For praying.
She
on the
really
podcast.
should be, because
Damn,
honestly,
I should start praying on the podcast.
thank you. Thank you for today. Thank you for your journey.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. This is great. This felt like I was meant to be here, and I really appreciate you guys giving me a platform to speak.
Of course.
Yeah, it's great what you guys are doing.
Thank you. I mean, I had help, but
And
we're out.
are you ready to hear children laughing and playing outside again? Childrensbusinessfair.org is too. That's why they need your help to launch a children's business fair in your neighborhood. It's easier than you think. If you or your children will invite some friends and provide a safe place to showcase 5 or more booths, they'll provide the rest and up to $500 in prize money. It's a gift and celebration of the curiosity and drive of young entrepreneurs all around the world. Start your audition to host a fair in your community or find out more at podcast.childrensbusinessfair.org. Hi guys, I'm Cory Oliver and thank you for watching The Coriolis Effect. We hope you enjoyed the previous episode. Here are some more episodes you might enjoy. Hit the subscribe button below and have a great day.